very powerful card that is most likely used late in the game along with Undertaker, along with a card, sometimes like Student Leader Lane. I've seen people play it middle or end game.
So, I mean, if you look right now up at Delita's character and the size of followers out there, not quite enough, but we'll see if he can get some free shots.
We really need to see Pino taken down here. I mean, Student Leader Lena is a powerhouse too, but Pino has so much damage. She's really just going to take out whoever she feels like at this moment. And Yinwei's looking pretty hurt as far as... Oh, and that is the end of the game. So abrupt. But we really like that strategy. Yinwei had a really cool strategy, utilizing his character card, using those spell cards to actually increase the size of his opponent's followers so that he can further buff his own. So that looks like it is the end of that game, and Delita moves on to the second round. So we are going to get ready for that next game. We will be right back. We are live right now. I turned the microphone on. Hello. How are you?
Gadzooks, how you doing? Delita here.
Delita, winner of the last match. You just beat Yinwei. How do you feel about that match?
It was close. Somewhat. Somewhat. I actually really liked his strategy. His character card worked actually very well with Bondage. But unfortunately, I felt like the way he set it up, how he synergized with the Zerg type rush, was kind of didn't really quite flow well with what he trying to do with Bondage and his character card. So.
Yeah, we all kind of saw the vision that he had for himself, and we saw the direction he was going in. He just didn't quite execute it that well. And I would just like to say, everyone, this is Delita that I spoke about before, the person who has brought you Sword Girls straight from Korea on a silver platter, so all of you can play it. All of the adoring fans love you. They are happy that you have brought this title here. Would you like to say anything to your adoring fans?
I don't own any silver platters, but okay. But Anyway, thank you everyone for supporting the game so far. It's been amazing, CBT1. We're definitely trying to make improvements for CBT2, and excited about that. And that's coming to you very soon. But let's move on to the next match.
Yes, we have Dahooch, who is here doing commentary with me. He is going to be playing Vault, another very prominent member of the Office Sword Girls community. He is the second dark horse that we have in this tournament. We do not see him play very often. We do not know what he's going to be bringing to the table, but he and Dahooch talk a lot about different strategies, so they are probably pretty familiar with each other.
Right, and the funny thing is, I think they practice against each other the most. So this is kind of like a sibling rivalry, you would say? Or maybe not.
I definitely think so. So... Oh, okay. So we've got a little bit of a delay here. Vault got lost in the parking lot and needs help.
So I think from all the excitement, he just had to use the bathroom. I believe. I think that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, I was trying to make it a little bit more exciting than that, saying that he got lost, you know, building up some suspense. But, you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
All right, so let's take a look at the brackets. You can see the brackets on the forums. It's on the thread. I pretty much just finished the first match with Yanwei, moved on. We got, as we said, the Hutch and Vault coming up next. That's going to be I think it's going to be a really close... The Hooch! The Hooch is swinging his fist at me right now for pronouncing his name wrong. But I think that's going to be a pretty close match.
We also have Delirium playing against Crash. Crash, a lot of you know from the forums, probably the most prominent member on the forums. And Delirium, a long-lasting member of our team here. He runs the beautiful titles Dragon Oath and Zincha for all of you players out there. And then Jorvius will be playing against Ness. Ness, the community manager that you all know and love, who was speaking earlier about running this event. He's the one who puts together all of these events, gives out all of the Aces tablets and art books. Another art book going to be given out to one of you stream monsters later on, so stay tuned for that. Definitely tell your friends, or maybe, yeah, I'll just say tell your friends. I was going to give you guys a little strategy on how to get the book, but no, I'm not going to give that up. Anyways, yeah, the tournament's on its way. We are just waiting for Vault to get here, and things will pick up.
And just a quick fact about Jorvius. He's actually our data analyst, so he's all about numbers. So it's kind of interesting to see what his deck brings to the table. So I'm sure he's figured out mathematically somehow to get to be the best at this game. So I really want to see what he brings on his match against Ness.
Now, we talked a little bit, or I should say I talked a little bit to Dahooch before this tournament, and he is a little worried about what Vault brings to the table. He says that his deck has a few small weak points, and what Vault is bringing to the table may or may not be able to exploit those. Dahooch is going to be using the amazing Dress Luthica character card. This character card is insanely powerful because what it does for its followers is one of the least situational cards in the game. At the start of the turn, if the difference in size between your cards in slot 1 and 2 is odd, all of the followers get +2 attack, and if the difference is even, they get +2 stam. Alright, so it looks like Vault is here, and we're getting underway. Vault rocking the Kendo Sita. Ooh! We know who else rocks Kendo Sita. You're going to be seeing that later on as well.
Yeah, and actually, Crash is actually raging over here, saying that Vault is using the same character card as him.
Yeah, it must hurt. It definitely must hurt. We see Dahooch playing some shoddy magic. He's hovering over that bondage. He wants to play bondage as well. He's got 2 followers out on the field.
And Senpai made really interesting rare card. I feel that card is just really solid. Size 3, buffs itself for +1 attack and +2 stam. Just so strong and solid.
So there you see Dahooch throwing out those debuffs to the assistant. Oh man, he's taking quite a beating already early on. Still 30-30. That Kendo Sita is going to do so well for Vault. That Kendo Sita is going to attack the follower that is in slot 3 and also place followers in slot 3. So that is going to be a dangerous spot to leave your most prized followers for the rest of the match. Keep an eye on that.
And you know, you have to look out for this match. Dress Luthica is very dangerous if you leave any followers on the field, because it doesn't have a limit to how many followers it'll buff. So Vault has to watch out for that, but it doesn't look like a problem right now.
Yes, we see a little bit of empowering chant in Dahooch's hand. We'll see which followers he decides to play. Hovered over that magician. He's gonna play it. Gonna play Maid Godot or no? He's thinking about it. He does it. Okay.
And fun fact about empowering chant: you can use that card and buff any follower in slot 2, but if you don't have a Vita character card, it'll actually remove its abilities. So you can actually work that towards your advantage. So we'll see what happens here.
All right, and we see Vault playing student leader Lena, getting off to an early start with her. She is going to be giving herself Stam based on how many cards are in Vault's hand. Great card to have. We spoke about it last game, just because it can keep itself alive for a really good amount of time while things are still going on the field. So if you want to buff her attack, buff her defense, whatever it may be, you won't need to worry about her Stam that much.
Yeah, and actually, I feel like Vault didn't make quite the best move here because he only has 2 cards in his hand.
Yeah, so not a great read on his part. He probably wanted to play Student Leader Lena without playing too many other cards so we could continue to get a pretty healthy Stam buff. And we see her gone just as soon as she got here.
Wow, and looking at Dahooch's hand, 2 Sisters Letters. Those are probably the best debuff cards in the game, given the fact that they reduce all 3 stats: attack, def, and Stam. And Dahooch is holding 2 of them, so it's looking really dangerous.
So as you can see, that Sister's Letter takes the enemy's followers with the highest size and have their attack, defense, and Stam reduced by their slot number. That is huge because if the highest size happens to be the same across the board, I believe it's going to hit all of them.
Yeah, that's right. And actually, Dahooch has dropped 7. She's a debuff card, working with the Grave. So right there, you can see the debuff just went off. Really strong card. Depending on how many cards on Grave, that debuff is going to activate every time.
Wow. And kind of unexpectedly, I would say for me, looks like Vault's getting out to a pretty good lead here. He's very, very confident in the cards that he is playing. Everything's very, very tactical for him, not playing too many cards. We saw Yinwei the game before filling up his field. Dahooch is hovering over Magic Eye. Ooh, he decides to play it. Debuffs are right around the corner, people. He's got that Bondage as well. He might be playing that. No, he's going to play Maid Godot. Yes, he is going to play her. So, still hovering over the Bondage. Decides to go for that as well. He's just throwing things out there, looking to put a really big hurting on Vault.
Yeah, I totally agree with the Bondage and Magic Eye combination, because what Bondage is going to do is it's going to lock down his field size, and Magic Eye is going to debuff everyone. So Vault's just going to lose more health while not being able to play any more cards.
Bam, and there we see the Bondage, increasing those sizes 4 across the board. He's only going to be able to play a size 1 or a size 2 next turn if these 2 cards survive, and it looks like they will. And not only will they survive, they will do a ton of damage. Things aren't looking good out here for Dahooch. He is one of the people who plays Sword Girls who feels that he does not need the balance card. He thinks it's a crutch. So we won't be seeing that from him. Oh, but he plays that sense of belonging. One of Delita's favorite cards. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
I absolutely hate Sense of Belonging. Because my deck, I run an Academy character card, and all my followers are non-Academy. So that card will work against me every single time.
But it looks like Vault is playing, or no, not Vault, I'm sorry, Dahooch is playing that Undertaker card. Undertaker is great for later on in the game, or when you feel like things aren't quite going your way. She will be looking to the Grave and using that to her advantage to buff herself and deal huge damage.
Alright, and looking at Dahooch's hand, he's got Visitor Ophelia, one of the neutral SG cards that are double rare. That's a very interesting card we'll explain later. We'll see what he tries to do with that.
There you see Undertaker continuing to buff herself. +2, +0, +2. Dealing huge damage, tilting the scales back in favor of Dahooch, and just like that, he was down, and now it is 13-9.
Wow, big turnaround. Undertaker just taking over the field. There's enough graveyard. There's enough cards in the graveyard right now for him to buff for probably 2-3 more turns, and the graveyard is going to keep filling up as Undertaker destroys more followers.
And there we see the Undertaker taking over games as she usually does. If played right, she can last for as many turns as you want and deal as much damage as you see fit. Such a strong card, a card that we see here in the office all the time because it is universally believed that she is necessary for success.